Hi everyone, this is Laura from the Teton County Library. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am going to read you a short nonfiction story that I love that is called The World is Not a Rectangle, a portrait of architect Zaha Hadid, and it's written and illustrated by Jeanette Winter. The World is Not a Rectangle, a portrait of architect Zaha Hadid, written and illustrated by Jeanette Winter and published by Beach Lane Books. In Iraq, rivers flow through green marshes. Wind swoops across sand dunes and through ancient cities. Zaha Hadid sees the rivers and marshes and dunes and ruins with her father and imagines what cities looked like thousands of years ago. In Baghdad, where Zaha lives with her family, she dreams of designing her own cities. Zaha looks long and hard at patterns in her Persian carpet and sees how the shapes and colors flow into each other, like the dunes and rivers and marshes. Zaha has ideas. She designs clothes for herself. She arranges her furniture. She loves her mirror because the corners aren't square. There are no corners in the dunes or rivers or marshes. Zaha is a Muslim who attends a Catholic school and loves math, and still thinks about the ancient ruins. She leaves home to learn more about cities and how to build them. She has ideas. In London, Zaha studies to be an architect. Goodness. All right. She fills notebooks with plans and designs. She makes paintings of the cities she sees in her mind. Zaha graduates with honors. That means she did really well. Rents a room in an old school building and opens her own office, Studio 9. There she is. A few friends join her. They all work hard, night and day, making drawings and plans. We never slept. And it's in quotation marks, which means that it's something that she said. Zaha's designs don't look like other designs. Her buildings swoosh and zoom and flow and fly. The world is not a rectangle, she says. You know how I know that? Yeah, more quotations. What do you think of Zaha's designs? No one wants to build her unusual designs. They say they can't be built, but Zaha knows they can. So she enters competition after competition, hoping to win, hoping someone will be brave enough to build them. Finally, one of Zaha's designs is chosen. The architect judges think her plan is best. But the city committee doesn't like it and won't build it. And here are some of the things they're saying. She's an Arab. This can't be built. Impossible. She's a woman. Oh, so we see she's getting discriminated against because she is a woman, and also because she's from Iraq. They hold another competition. Her design wins again, and still they refuse. Hadid means iron in Arabic, and Zaha is strong as iron. She keeps on working, one plan after another. I made a conscious decision not to stop, she says. Zaha remembers the grasses in the marshes swaying and sees tall buildings dance like grass. Zaha remembers the wind in the dunes and feels it blowing over and around and through her desert building. Zaha looks at shells and cradles her stadium like a cocoon. Zaha looks at stones in a stream and builds an opera house like the pebbles in the water. Inside the opera house, a singer is the pearl in the oyster shell. Zaha looks up at stars and galaxies and sees swirling buildings. Zaha looks at waves and sees a bridge that moves with the water. Zaha looks at the Alps and builds a museum inside a mountain peak with windows to see the sky and the valleys. Zaha's ski jump reaches to the sky like the mountains. Zaha thinks of the jungle and ancient wood temples and builds a wooden building to remember a faraway war. One by one, Zaha's designs become buildings all over the world. And she says, "We do this so you can be in a simple place and feel good." Zaha is so busy now that every room in the old school building is filled. Over 400 architects work in these rooms, designing, planning, engineering, and making models of Zaha's visions. Do you think it's important to be in places that make you feel good? Have you ever paid attention to what places feel nice and what places don't feel nice? I think it's a nice thing to think about. She says, "You should do what you like." Zaha designs a dollhouse and shoes and chairs. She designs a stalactite sculpture and an iceberg seat. "I can't stop thinking," she says. Sometimes when she is working, Zaha's early memories return. And she says, "The beauty of the landscape, where sand, water, reeds, birds, buildings, and people all somehow flow together, has never left me. She says, I still believe in the impossible. Then, one night, the light in Zaha's window goes dark. She has left this world. But her architects keep their lights on, designing, planning, engineering, and making models of her visions, keeping her flame blazing bright, even though Zaha is gone. And here, the end of the story, are all the descriptions, just little descriptions of all of these buildings that we saw. They are all real. And they all exist in different parts of the world. Zaha Hadid was very determined to make her architecture come to life. And I know I'm very happy that she succeeded. Here at the back of this is a little tiny biography about Zaha Hadid. And that is the end of The World Is Not a Rectangle, which is a portrait of architect Zaha Hadid. You can check this book out at the library if you would like to see it for yourself. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.